videos on YouTube. You can go to Stock Swoosh to look at any videos that I have. I put plays, market updates on there, different webinars that I do. You can go there and take a look at them whenever you get a chance. So tonight we're going to talk about the picture of power. And this is a good example. This is a picture of a lion. And I use this because I was trying to think of something, what do I think of as a powerful creature that exists in the universe? And I thought of the lion. The lion is the king of the animal kingdom and is very powerful. People know his power, recognize his power, and actually fear his power in the animal kingdom. He rules the world that he lives in. And this picture of this lion to me symbolizes a picture of power. Would you recognize power in the market if you saw it, just like you would recognize the power of a lion, for example, if you saw it? Would you recognize power in the market if you saw it? Readily, easily, quickly, right away, to be able to take advantage of it to make money trading. Here's an example of a chart. This is Netflix. Now, this is the best example that I could find, current example, recent example, of a huge, huge picture of power. Right here, the stock was down here, and it gapped up. This is around $100, between 100 and 105 it was down during this day, and gapped up to $140 some, $145 in one day on the gap. That is a picture of power. And it continued to the point that the picture of power grew, okay? So if you didn't see this move as power, you clearly can see this move as power. And not only that, it's continuing. This stock in less than 2 weeks has gone from $100 some all the way up to being in the 180s. It's doubled in price. Doubled in price in 2 weeks. That is a picture of power. That's a picture of power in the market. And the only thing that causes that is real power on the side of buying and money. So it's the power of the money in the market that makes the market move, that allows us as traders to be able to make money. And as long as we recognize the power, as long as we are aware enough to recognize the power in the correct position, we will be able to make money trading. It's really just as simple as that. You have to understand it, and you got to get to a place of how to understand it. Understanding the power of money in the market can be challenging, but it is worth the reward of undertaking the endeavor. Having balance within yourself is key to reading this power correctly. If you are not in a balanced place within yourself, then you will read things in a mindset of greed or fear and then miss what the chart and price is telling you. Now, what do I mean by reading the power correctly? To be able to get in the right way, okay? This chart here, I want to go back a minute, is a great example. Do you know that I know people that were trading on this day, the Netflix gapped up, that wanted to short this? I said that it was not a short. I said it was a bullish gap, and people wanted to short this on the day. It was a bullish gap, but people wanted to trade this as a short on the day. Why? Because they read this as a big gap up that it would come in on the day. I didn't see it that way because of the power behind the move that it made and the placement of the gap in the overall chart. So I'm not going to go into tonight. But the point was, here's a great example where reading it correctly matters, because the power and the lift was long in the chart and the direction was up, and people wanted to short this on this day. They got run over here, and not only that, missed getting in a long trade here to get this nice extension the day afterwards, because you could have carried this overnight, because it really didn't go that far this day as a long. Why? Because it did have a huge move, and it pretty much rested this whole day. It kind of based out the whole day and then pushed up a little bit, ran out of time, and there was a move into the next day. But it wasn't a short. So you have to read it correctly and not get sucked up into what I discussed just previously about the greed. What's the greed? The greed is, oh my goodness, this thing could come in now because it's gapped up so big and could drop like $10 and I can make $10 shorting it today. You know, no, look at what's happening correctly with this. Look at what's happening for what it is with the power of what's going on here. Because this is not a novice gap. This is not a novice gap at all. This thing hasn't even gone underway. Who's going to sell out of it? Nobody got in it yet. Nobody's even in this thing yet long. The only reason this would sell on the day of something like this is if it might be novice as a gap, which is not what I do and not what I teach and not what this is anyways. because only novice gaps happen when everybody's in it for so long and a gap's up really big and everybody's got so much money they have to sell out of it, so it causes a red bar. That's not what happened here. Actually, this kind of happened here. This isn't a novice gap, but the selling that happened here the third day was just people were up so much money. All these people, they said, oh, we better get out some here. That's what happened here. See? This isn't a novice gap either, but I'm just pointing out what was going on in this red bar. This is not a red bar that's a problem for the chart. It's just some people were like, oh my goodness, we're up so much, let's just take some off. And then that bar went red. All right? So it's about the yin and the yang. And here's a definition of yin and yang. It's two complementary principles of Chinese philosophy. Yin is negative, dark, and feminine. Yang is positive, bright, and masculine. Their interaction is thought to maintain the harmony of the universe and to influence everything within it. Here's the thing. I'm a woman and I'm a woman trader. Somehow I've managed to balance this thing within me where when I'm trading, the masculine principles that are required to be a risk taker and to be aggressive as a trader and to be forward thinking, and yet the feminine principles of the side of me where I'm intuitive, okay, and I try to pull myself intuitively into making trading decisions to be more in balance. If you're a man or a woman, try to find this balance within yourself because it's going to help you become a better trader and it's going to help you make decisions and see these things correctly as far as the direction on the chart. We can all balance our masculine and feminine sides within ourselves. We all have them. Men have feminine sides. You call them feminine qualities. Call them whatever you want. Okay, the loving, emotional, intuitive side of you, those can help your trading and help you assist you in your trading. They can. And so finding that balance is going to help make you a stronger trader. It's the yin and yang within yourself. And if you find that proper balance, this is a picture, okay, you can really begin to take it to another level with your trading. If you can see things for what they are and not get sucked up into the mainstream, not get sucked up with the greed, stay in the balance within yourself, find the balance within yourself, make the proper decisions. And part of that is balancing a little bit of your masculine and feminine side. So the yin and yang of yourself with money, let's talk about that. When you're in touch with yourself and in balance with yourself, you will make the right decisions about money and your trading. Having an understanding of yourself and being in balance is just as important as reading the charts. In fact, if you are in balance yourself, then your mind will be clear of any prejudices and biases. Okay? Like reading stuff or seeing stuff on TV that tells you something that all of a sudden is going to create a bias in your head that isn't what you're seeing in the chart, and then therefore you're going to read things incorrectly. Okay, you need to be in balance with yourself so you're clear of any prejudices and biases. In this free state, it's what I call a free state, you will look at the stocks in a manner that will reflect the truth of what people are thinking, the people that are trading the stocks. Okay, the people that are trading the stocks with a lot of money that have positions that we are making money off of. Okay, that's really what's happening when we make money trading. In this free state, you will look at the stocks in a manner that will reflect the truth of what people are thinking and where the power is at that moment. When you are in balance, you won't be influenced by outside sources in a negative fashion, which could happen in many ways. And we've all seen this. We've all seen this happen. We've seen this play out in our trading. And we can give examples of this even in our life, okay, when we're not in balance and then we're influenced by negative outside sources, which we normally wouldn't be, okay, it's just that we're out of balance. But in trading, it's very important because obviously you're trading money, you're risking money, so making the proper decisions is vital in order for you to be profitable. And not only that, if you don't make the right decisions, you can lose. So if you make money today and you're in balance and everything's great, hold on one second. If you make money today and you're in balance and everything's great, you could do something tomorrow and give back the money you made yesterday. So it's really important to be in this constant balance as a trader. And that's why, honestly, you have to do a double, triple check all the time with yourself. Talk to yourself. Do a double, triple check with yourself. Or be in a trading room like mine where you have constant motivation to stay in the right place. You know, I don't trade all day. I'm done by lunchtime. My trading room's only open to noon. Whatever you have to do, if you can't be in a balanced place trading for 8 hours straight every single day, 5 days a week, and you know that, then trade when you're in that balanced state. If that's for 30 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever, and maybe take a break, walk away, come back for 20 minutes, whatever you have to do, because it's so important to make sure you're in this free state where you're looking at things in a neutral position without any prejudices or biases. Understand what people are thinking. In order to make appropriate decisions trading, you need to understand who has the power and when. Timing is everything. Timing is everything. Look at that stock. Look at that Netflix. Timing is everything. If you get in a certain position at the proper time, you can make a lot of money. If you get in something at the wrong time, you can lose money. So timing is everything. And a lot of it has to do with the direction, okay? First, it has to do with the direction and getting the direction right where the side of the power of the money is on. And then after that, it has to do with your entry and your exit in the stock as well. Because the timing being everything has to do with not only the direction you're playing it, but where you're getting in and where you're getting out, because the shift in power can change and will change and does change, because stocks are living, breathing things and they don't stay stagnant. But of course, we don't want them to, because we wouldn't make money if they did. So the reason that we're making money as traders is because they are moving. They're moving and wiggling and jiggling, and we're getting the momentum, and we've got to get in and out and be nimble with it. And the timing is everything. Timing counts with the side of power. Timing counts with the side of power, and that is why gaps work, which is what I play, so well for moves. But you must get in at the right time and out at the right time. The reason timing counts is the power of the side of the money can shift. And how do you know when the shift will take place? Well, here is a great example. If you've been in Apple long since whenever, okay, whatever year you bought Apple and you've been trading it as a core trade, maybe for retirement or a swing trade or whatever you were doing with Apple. Apple was along for years. Last year at some point, it kind of topped out a little bit around 700, 705 it dinged up to. And it's not been along since then. Okay, it's not been along since when? Since this gap here. This is a professional bearish gap that changed the trend of the stock. It happened right up here. It did kind of like a double top right up here in September. And then it actually had a professional bearish gap down. Continued nicely really the next day. This thing hasn't seen this price up here since. So the power, learning when the money is on your side. The money is on your side in Apple for a long time. When does the money stop being on your side here? How would you know that for sure? You'd have to learn to read gaps correctly to know if this is an actually a gap that's going to have any sort of significance. Now, there's been lots of gaps in this stock all along, okay? Actually, looking back here, you could have taken some off in here. I actually didn't rate this gap. I didn't rate this gap that happened back here in July. I would have had to go back and rate it and figure it out to see if this was a good one or not. But you might have taken some off here in this thing if you were in this long all the way up. You might have taken some of your position off if you were in this core swing at this gap here. Kind of was a sign of things to come. Now, say your target's 700, so you leave the rest on, take half off here, leave the rest here. But when you get to the target, and then you get another gap right after, you got to be out. And if you're not out the day of the gap, you got to be out the next day when you see this kind of bar. And it hasn't seen that price since. So you learn when the money is on your side and which direction, which in Apple was long for years up until September of 2012. Now, after that gap, here's a bigger chart. You can see the candles better. After this guy here, the first gap, which was a professional bearish gap, and some clues also were the price, okay, and the toppiness here with the way that this acted, and then the follow through as well the day after. So now, Apple chart number 2 example is the rest of everything that's happened since the gap, which, where is the money on your side? The money is on your side in this as a short now. So here the money's on your side in Apple as a long. You're in it. And really, even if, it depends where you got in this thing, honestly. But if you've been in it for a long time, you're up no matter what. If you're late in this, it's a different story. But the power of the money is on the side in the direction of long here for up until September 2012. And if you didn't get out, okay, the power of the money on your side has been, since then, in the opposite direction, short. How did you know this? You have to read the gap. You have to read the chart. You can't be sucked into thinking, Apple's so great, it's a great company. Well, yes, it is a great company. And Apple isn't going to fall off the face of the earth. But if you want to make money trading and be a trader, get rid of the prejudices, get rid of the biases, get rid of everything and read what's going on here. If you're up money in this for a long time, you've got to book it. Some of it, if not all of it, at some point you can get back in. That's the great thing about being a trader. You can get in, you can get out. You can get in, take a trade, you can make money, and you can take it off. You can get in, take a trade, make money, and take it off. You can get in and out, however you choose. I mean, that is the great thing. So you can play the song and make money, and then you can play the short and make money. What a beautiful thing. Okay, if you know how to read gaps and how to read the chart, and knowing how to read, understanding what's going on with the people, okay, with the price and the people. So you've got to be on the side of the power. And that's how you do it. Be on the side of the power of the money, and there is shifts that occur. So things don't go on forever in a straight line, either direction, up or down. So play it with the shifts and learn how to read the shifts of the power. And get in a state of mind where you're in a free state of balance that you can be able to do that clearly. So why I love gaps. I do love gaps. I really love gaps. I can't imagine my life now without gaps or without trading, quite frankly. And this week is a perfect example of that. There's been so many good gaps, bearish gaps this week. It's just one of these things you say, gosh, I wish this was every single day. I mean, I love gaps and I love trading. But the reason I love gaps is because gaps are an easy read of people to me. To me, gaps are an easy read. I can look at the chart and see what the people are doing in the price. It is the price that I am reading when I'm making a decision if I like the gap or not to trade. I also can tell the direction of the overall chart, and that is important because at least I know if it's a long or short. All right, you got to get to the place you can see what's going on in the actual daily chart and make sure that the chart is either going to go up with the gap or down with the gap. That's the first step, and then the entry is the next step. But either way, you've got to learn the overall direction. This is a learned skill that I can teach to you and that I do teach to people. And if you are not getting your direction right in the stocks you're playing, then you are not getting the position of power. Read correctly. It's really as simple as that. So if you're in stuff and you're getting the direction wrong, you're not reading the side of the power. And I want you to think about that tonight. All right, break it down to that. Don't say, well, this, that, and the other thing. Forget it. It's read the power of what's going on with the money. And if you are not in the stock correctly, in the right direction, it's because you didn't get the read of the power correct on the daily chart. So you've got to read the side of the power. And this is where the whole trading psychology thing comes into play, where you've got to understand what people are doing. All right. Here's an example. This was a golden gap with power. This is MRK. I read this as a short this day. It worked. It continued. It's still lower. It actually set up on a nice daily setup here today. It's going to have follow through. Target on this, I think overall is 40 and then 39.50 on the stock. How did you know this was going to work? Well, first of all, I have a rating system that I rate the gaps to see if they're good enough to play. This rated well. But I want you to see clearly that the power of the side of this chart is down. The power of the side of this chart isn't long. The power of the side of this chart is up. It's up, okay? The power is in the direction as a short. How do we know that? How do we know that? First of all, these people here, I know the day before is red, and some people don't like to trade gaps when the day before is red like this. I know some people sold out of this, but it doesn't matter. The power is still on the side of the short. Why? Why? Because this thing was getting a lift. This thing was moving forward, okay? It actually had lifted itself up after this gap and was continuing higher here for a period that looked like it might fix itself and was over the 20, over the 200, over the 8, and even duped a little bit here over the 50. But the fact of the matter is, it couldn't carry through. It's pretty obvious that it couldn't. Had earnings out this day, and it gaps down. So what do? You read where's the side of the power. The side of the power clearly in this is down. For whatever reason, people don't want it. People just don't want this thing. Nobody's buying it, okay? Something wouldn't do something like this if people wanted to buy it. It would get a lift. You can see. This doesn't look like Netflix. Netflix looks like buying and power and movement. This doesn't look anything like that. Remember, it takes a lot of money to move something up $80 in 2 weeks. Lots and lots and lots of money, especially in that price point stock. That's power. That's real power. That's not what's going on here. All right? Here, people are, every chance people are taking to get out of this are saying, sell it, sell some more, keep selling, sell some more today, keep selling. All right, we don't know why, and it doesn't matter. And people were selling over here and here, okay? So people went out of this thing all along the way, or they're shorting it too. So look for where the power is. Gaps are a shift in power. Trading gaps work because there's a shift in the power that often happens the day the stock's gap. And this forces an action to take place in the stock. It's actually forcing people to do something with their positions, which is why it works. And any gap that rates well in my rating system is called a golden gap. That's just a name I made up for it. And it's a nice name because I feel like when I find these things, it's like finding gold to get the play on the day. And I use a 26-point rating system to make sure I play a gap that is quality and that has potential for enormous moves with precise and detailed entries. There is one other big reason that I love playing gaps and why I think every trader on the planet should learn how to read and play gaps. Is to get on board with professionals. What do I mean by professionals? I mean people that are trading large sums of money. People that are actually managing hedge funds and money for banks and institutions and mutual funds and hedge funds and people that are managing money. Those people know how to read gaps. Those people are reading the gaps. They are making decisions based on those gaps. So as far as I'm concerned, if you want to trade the market as a swing trader, a day trader, a core trader, I don't care what you want to do. Your money is out there in the market with those people that have billions of dollars in the market, and call them professionals because that's what they are. Money managers. They read gaps. They're making decisions what to do with their positions based on the gap. And if you don't understand how to read the gap, how are you going to know what to do to either profit from it or take off a position you're in something to save yourself money so you don't lose in something when you see a gap go in your opposite direction? It's vital to learn how to read gaps no matter what you do. Even if you don't want to play them, play them. Even if you want to get in on them and play them, if one of them happens, which they will because they happen in everything in existence, you've got to know that maybe you should take your long off because you've got a gap on MRK to sell out of it that day because the chart is lower and is going to go down another $2-3. So either way, professionals make decisions using what happens with gaps. And that's why learning how to read these gaps is important. Even if you don't want to play them intraday as a day trader, even though I don't know why you wouldn't want to do that. Why you wouldn't want to do that, I have no idea, because there's a lot of money to be made trading gaps correctly. But you still could know how to read them and know if they're good, if they change the direction of something. Apple is a perfect example. Professional traders knew to get out of Apple or made that decision around that $700 mark. And some of them probably took short positions in that first cap and added to it on the way down, okay? And that's why you've got to get on board with the professionals, because they're the ones that have the money, that manage the money, and that's the power in these moves that happen. Here's an example of one I just played yesterday, had continuation today. Beautiful chart. Really nice chart here. In fact, let's just see. Yeah, I mean, it got to the first target actually today. I was going to say $20 down here, but really $20.50. I see right where it went today. It went right there today and bounced. So this is over for a little bit here. It's probably going to wiggle and jiggle and then continue down. This is a really nice chart. This was a play from yesterday. This is a 1-minute chart of this. Set up in the morning, but the volume was really low in here. So I didn't take the first entry. I took the second entry, which I figured out something interesting here. The entry on this in the morning was the same as the afternoon. Those of you that are here that were in my room, I just noticed this tonight. It's incredible. Really unbelievable. You'll see this here in a minute. So the entry was right here in the morning. Stop over here, okay? And you take it down for a play. Now the target is $22. Hold it down to 22 or 21 if you want. I typically don't hold the target if I see a push up and I'm up a lot in something that's had a nice, beautiful drop. If you don't take it all off in here, at least take some off once it starts to go green as a short, or put your stop over the bar right here, because you don't want this to rally back up against you. It dinged on the low of the day and then pushed back up. That's all it did. And then it went to the target, which was 21. And you got to be out of here at 21. This was a really nice play. So the entry was 934. The price was 21.83. The stop was over 21.97, and the risk was 14 cents. This is the kind of risk you're going to get in these plays that are golden gaps. The exit was 21.32. If you got out before it flipped or went green, here's the profit if you risked $350. Now, if you held it to 21, you made more. Still have to manage it bar by bar in the one after that green bar. You can't hold it through a rally because you've got to book the money. You're up a lot here and there. But it was a nice trade either way. Whether you took the whole money off and did the first green bar or held it to target, either way it was a beautiful trade with a nice risk to reward. Here is the 15-minute. Would you believe the price on this thing, okay, with the entry on this thing, was the exact price of the setup in the morning? I didn't even realize that until today. Look. Oops. I didn't put the right time in here. I didn't change the time. But the actual price for this play in the afternoon, I'll go back and show you, was 21.84. Look. The time of the day was here. It was like around 1:45. It was a 9:30. I didn't change that. But it was the exact same price as the morning play. This point right here is 21.84. It's the exact same price almost. Look. 21.83 was the morning play I did. And the afternoon was 21.84. The thought was the same. Can you believe that? Oops. Here was the entry. Stop is over this. It was the same exact numbers as the morning play. I didn't even realize that until today. Isn't that crazy? That's what I'm talking about as far as something being a golden gap. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Now, the timing here was around the afternoon, later in the day. You cannot get in this at any point in here because you don't know if it's going to go back down. And it's set up here and flip. You can't do this after this kind of rally. But here was the entry, and I just realized today was the exact same price. This was beautiful. And then it dropped and actually went through into underneath here, and then broke. This is continuation today. I didn't play it today, but it has a continuation today. You can see it on the daily chart. Same price. Same price. That's incredible to me. So if you exited right into the drop where it started to base out, which was at 21.27 before it popped, the profit on this play in the afternoon was 14.25. So you could have made $3,500 on the day, which is 10 times the amount you risked if you risked over $300 on the play. If you did the afternoon one, and then if you did the morning one. And as it turns out, the entry was the same. The price within a penny for both, and the stop was the same. I didn't even realize that until today. It's this kind of thing that makes me go back and look at my charts and snag at my charts all the time. This is why I do studies after I trade the next day or on the weekend. I look at stuff. But that to me is just, first of all, it's the power of the gap. And second of all, it just, I knew this gap was incredible because I played it yesterday perfectly. And then I saw the continuation today. I was in something else. I saw it perfect. But the fact that these numbers were so perfect, I mean, look at this. It's beautiful. Really, really nice. Why these numbers work so well? Because everybody's looking at them. They're getting them from the chart, they're looking at them, and people are playing them, and they're real. This is the first time I ever saw an entry in the morning and the afternoon that was so exact like that, as far as the entry and the stop. This is the first time I ever noticed that. It really is the most perfect thing I've ever seen. So you have to understand the heart of the movement. The heart of the movement that's happening in the position, in the stock, in the symbol that you're playing. The relevance of psychology to your trading success is that as a trader, your mindset has to be good or you will not be successful. Your mindset is as important to your own success as a trader as anything else, if not more so. And so many people do not understand this. It's vital to get yourself into the proper mental state if you're currently or not. And some of us are and some of us are not. And that's what I'm here to remind you is how vital it is to get yourself into the proper mental state. Because you can know everything in the world about how to trade and how to make money, but if your mindset isn't right, nothing you do is going to work out. And that's where you got to get to the place where you can say, you know what, I realize that I know a lot about trading. I realize I know how to read charts. I realize I know technical analysis. I realize I know all these things. Why isn't it working for me? What is missing? Well, the bottom line is it might be that your mindset is not in the right place. There is nothing stopping you from being successful except yourself. Some of you might disagree with me and say, no, it's this, it's that, it's the other thing, okay? But the fact is that there is nothing stopping you from being successful except yourself. Now, somebody disagree with me. I'm living proof of that. I got to tell you, I'm living proof of that. There's times when I say that I won something and then it happened. In fact, it just happened like 2 weeks ago. Was it 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago? I don't remember. I started the day down money, and I said it in my room. I said, you know what? I'm not losing money today. I announced it. Like, I put it out in the universe and said, I am not losing money today. Boom, boom. Okay? And then I took a trade right after that. It was huge, and I made good money on the day. So, quite frankly, you know, you have got to get to a point where your mindset is intact, and you know how to do what you need to do to be successful. And if you took every class in existence, I went to every good trading company out there, learned everything. I mean, you could just, you know, spit out numbers like anybody's business. If your head is in the right place, nothing you do is going to matter, and the results in your P&L are not gonna be there. They're just not. I actually think that it's more important than anything, because if your mindset is right, you will learn what you have to in order to do the particulars, and you will make it, and you won't give up. And when problems happen or bad days arise, you will find your way through them. The issue is that people start out thinking they have to learn the basics, and then they have to learn the specifics, and then they start doing it immediately, and their head is not on straight. So then they start losing, and then because of that, their head gets in a worse position mentally, and then it's so hard for them to turn it around. So you've got to learn to turn around. In fact, I'm doing a class, a trading psychology series, and I'm starting. The first class is this month. I think this is almost like a calling for me to do this type of teaching, because I lived it. All right, I'm living it, and have pulled myself through it and taught myself stuff that is just new information of how to really do it. Okay, and it's been 100% about what's going on in my head, to the point where sometimes I'll call up my friends and say, you're not going to believe this, and they say, yes we will. Yes we will, Melissa. I mean, literally. So the time for mental conditioning is now. It's now. And whether you trade full-time, part-time, on the side, you're new, you're a trader for 10 years, whatever it is, the time for mental conditioning is now. And we can always be at a better place with our own mental conditioning. This isn't something that you just do and all of a sudden then it's set in stone for the rest of your life. Unfortunately, because we live in a world, we live in a world that we are constantly bombarded by other things. It's never going to change, okay? We have to stay strong. If you're a trader, you're doing something that is a phenomenal thing to do for a living, but you will constantly be bombarded and tested. You must do things and take classes like my course this month, and you must do things to feed yourself, to feed this part of yourself, to feed your brain. You've got to do it, and you got to do it all the time. It's not like you can say, well, you know, my head is on straight and it's going to be there forever. If your head is on straight now, good, but you got to keep feeding it. It's like we feed ourselves. We never feed our minds enough. We've got to keep feeding them. And, you know, the more we keep feeding them, the stronger they're going to get, till they just shine like this, okay, where things that happen, like, have no effect on you. And really, you got to get to that point. And that is a point of, well, I don't even know the word for it. I'll think of the word for it. It's a point where you're completely transcended everything that's really happening in the world. And if you can get to that point, where you're in such a free state that anybody could say anything to you, and you do the right thing with your trading, you know, you're going to make billions of dollars, pretty much. Yes, I was saying a Zen state. It's kind of like the Yin and Yang a little bit. So be on the side of the power. That's what you've got to do. That's the whole point I'm trying to make with the seminar tonight. Be on the side of the power and read the direction right in the stock, okay, in order to do that. And we're still at the beginning of 2013. We're still at the beginning of the year. We've got plenty of time this year to make money trading and to get in a healthy mental conditioning. So 2003 is about conviction, 100% conviction in our ability to be able to be successful and to evolve our own mindset to get to a place where we are stronger and brighter and in a place of knowing where, and you know what happens when you get to that place, life is not so stressful either, okay? Life is not so stressful because you believe in yourself so much that when something happens, you say, you know what, I know that I'll make the right decision. I will consider what to do in this, and I will make the right decision, and you trust in yourself. If you are currently trading and you lack conviction in what you are doing, then change what you are doing. I talk to so many people all the time. They don't want to change what they're doing. Well, then I can't help you. Okay? If you don't want to change, then keep doing what you're doing. Good luck. All right? You have plenty of time to change and have a productive, successful 2013. Of course, you have to want to do that. Change can be hard at times. I understand that, but why not? All right? If you want your life to be better now, tomorrow, than it was last month, last week, or today, you've got to do something to change. So do something different. Make the necessary changes. And a lot of this has to do with your head. A lot of this has to do with your own mindset. Your own mindset has to be in a place where you are capable of doing the proper decisions in reference to your trading and being in a free state and making unbiased and decisions about what to do. And you're not in a place of prejudice. And you're not in a place of greed. You're not going to take one stock that isn't as good of a gap over another one because you think it could go $5 on the day when the other one could only go $1.50, but might give you a better entry and have more play in it, and you could make more money. It can't be about the greed. You've got to have your own mindset, and you've got to be balanced within yourself. So I'm doing a trader psychology series. This is the first class I'm doing this month. It's exciting. I came up with the idea. People have been asking me about it. And I've talked to so many people in the last few months that I got the idea that there was a need for something like this in the market. There is a definitive need for something like this in the market of traders. I don't know anyone else that's doing anything like this. There are books out there. I know there are books out there about this stuff, but I don't think there's classes, or none that I know of, that really just go to the heart of this stuff that I'm going to be talking about in the class I'm doing in February. And I already have all my topics for the rest of the ones I'm going to do for the remainder of the series. I just don't know when the next one's going to be. But it's going to be something where I do the one, and you'll want to be part of the first one if you want to be part of the series. The Stock Swoosh LLC is beginning a new and exciting journey on educating traders on trading psychology. Be a part of this exciting series by participating in the first class. This class is the first in a trading psychology series designed to assist traders by empowering them with information and tools to transform their trading and their life for the better. Really, the things in the class, if you decide to take it, will not only help your trading, but really help to empower you in your own life. It will help you to look at things in a different viewpoint that is going to benefit you overall as your whole overall well-being, okay? Because that's really what it's about. When you're in a more balanced state within yourself personally, you trade better, and it all comes together. If you want to start making more money trading, do not miss this exciting course. So my whole philosophy in teaching people with my company is about empowering people to make decisions themselves, to do it themselves, because ultimately everything I teach people, that person, you have to take the information and you have to put it into practice. I am not sitting there pressing the buttons for you when you're trading or helping you make decisions in your trading or your life. You have to do it. So I'm here as a vehicle to teach you and to empower you to do it. I'm giving you the tools. You have to take them and put them to use. And you have to want to do that. I've found talking to people, some people don't want to change. And then that's it. They don't want to. Okay? If you want to change and you want things to get better in your life and your world, it's 100% within your control. You will never get to a place in the universe where you never have any problems, where nothing ever happens, where you never have any issues. Let's just get real, okay? But you can get to a place where you are so solid and so successful and trust in yourself and your own decision makings, and so intelligent, so intellectual. And this is an intellectual class, by the way, that I'm teaching. This first one I'm doing. That you get to a point where, remember the picture of the brain, where there's like light dancing and shooting stars all around you, where things just try to come near you and then they just kind of bounce off of you very quickly. negative things that might happen, negative people, negative circumstances, negative words, they kind of just are dinged away. And then you'll have the place where some things just can't get near you because you're so together that they just can't even be bothered. They see your strength. They feel your strength. And then there will be times where you are challenged, and because you're in such a good place with yourself, you will think the things through properly. You will make the right decisions. You will stay on the right path. And through proper mental conditioning and through feeding your brain and your mind and your own health, you will stay in that place to constantly be moving forward in a positive direction with your life. So a real professional takes classes. The classes that people take once they know how to trade, though, are different. And that's why this class is, beginners can take this class and people that are already trading can take this class, because it's the kind of thing where this isn't going to be about charts. There isn't going to be any charts in my class. It's going to be about stuff that has to do with trading psychology, with the mind. So, and real professionals take classes like this. In fact, real professionals go to people where they pay a lot of money, where they go to them like maybe once a month, maybe once a month, once every couple of weeks. I actually have a woman that I talk to, I'm not sure what to call her, whenever I feel like it, who is a professional, I'd say healer. It really is what she is. But she helps assist me through things, talking and working through things in different ways. And she's an amazing woman and has helped me through this from the beginning of my trading till now. I only call her when I need her now, but during the time when I was going through things at the beginning, I called her way more. So real professionals not only take classes, but they actually have life coaches. They have healers. They have people they go to all the time for stuff on a continuous basis to stay strong. And remember, real professionals are trading on a level way beyond where we're at as far as the amount of money that they're managing, to the point where if they don't have their head on straight, if they're not balanced, they're aging very quickly with the amount of stress they're under. And I've seen it in people. And it's not worth it then, okay? So be in a place where you're doing what you're doing and you love it and you're making money, you're successful, and it's not crippling you, okay? I want to do this because I love it. I don't want this to age me, okay? I want to do it, and I want to do it so well that I'm actually in such a strong position where it doesn't create stress in my life. And there's sometimes I don't take a trade again where I see it setting up just because I think it's going to cause me stress because I already have my money on the day. Like, I have my money on the day. It's good money. I just don't want to deal with the stress about taking another trade. And I could make more if I did, because then the trade goes on to work. This is great to do, but it's got to enhance your life. And if you get to a place where it's not enhancing your life, you got to figure out something to do to change your mindset. You got to find a way to get in a healthy place to lower your stress. You got to have a good place in your head about money and everything that you're doing in order to be successful. So make an investment in your true self. Make an investment in your true self. So here's the class that I'm doing. It's called Wealth Manifestation. It's February 24th. It's just a half-day course from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. The cost is $350 for the class, for the half-day course. It's on a Sunday. And if you're interested, you can contact me at melissa@thestockswoosh.com. It's 2 for 1. I'm actually offering a special for this class. All class participants will receive 1 month free in my trading room, which is the Stock Swoosh trading room. And it's a fantastic idea because actually the normal cost for my room is $250 for non-students. So if you take this class in February, you would get the whole month in March in the trading room for free. So I call gaps like the LVLT one in my room. And the normal hours of the room are 8 to noon. I do make gap calls. Students who have taken my gap class pay $200 a month. Non-students pay $250. But again, if you do the class, this Wealth Manifestation Trading Psychology class is first in the series for this month in February, then you would get the room in March for free. This is a very focused trading room that plays gaps based on technical analysis. So there you have it. Any questions from anyone? Anyone have any questions at all about anything? Thank you very much for coming, by the way. Thank you, Michael. Anyone have any questions about anything? I did want to look and look at this. I wanted to see a couple of the things I was looking at tonight for earnings before we go. But ask me any questions at all about the class, about the class or about the trading room or anything you want. Okay, good. Thank you, Laura. I see some new faces here tonight. The reality is that I think that there's many different things, and that's why I decided to do a series. This wealth manifestation one is the first one because I've been wanting to do this topic for a while. But I think there's many things that I'm going to do in this trading psychology series that are going to touch upon topics that people need to help them. And again, it's food for thought. It's mental food. This is mental food. It's a mental conditioning. It's a mental strength. And, you know, we exercise every day. We exercise 3 times a week. We feed our bodies. We do stuff all the time to keep ourselves healthy and our physical fit. But we don't do stuff to keep our mind healthy enough. And it's great to say, well, we can read books and stuff like that. But you know what? I'm busy. You're busy. You know, sometimes taking a 2, 3, 4-hour class is easier and higher quality than reading a book if you don't have time to do it every day because you're working and trading and have a family. We need to do things to keep our minds fit consistently. Carol, what were you saying about trading? Looks like Michael's typing a question, but I can't see it. Anyways, ask me any of your questions. Go ahead. I have some time here. I actually ended a little bit early. I don't want to announce the company, the broker place that I trade with, but Michael, you can email me and I'll tell you. Here. And I can give you information. Carol, I only do professional bearish gaps. And the reason is because I've gotten so good at one thing and make money doing that I don't need to do anything else. Can I do other things? Do I know how to do other things? Yes. But I consider myself an expert in professional bearish gaps. And so I don't do anything else. And I don't need to do anything else to make money in the market. And the funny thing is, when I set out to do this and to get really good at it, I realized that I really can think, okay, this is my belief system. You can take it for what it's worth. That the way to be successful as a day trader consistently is to do one thing very well. I think too many people as day traders flip-flop from strategy to strategy to strategy, whether it's bullish gaps and bearish gaps or these kinds of things or breakouts or breakdowns or buy setups or daily sell setups. And then therefore they never get extremely good at one thing. I am so good at this one thing that I almost never get, my picks are almost never wrong. I know that sounds crazy, but come in the room. At 8 o'clock in the morning, I say what I like. I say if there's nothing good, and I am almost never wrong, all right? Now, the entries is a different thing because the entries set up different every single day, and I've got 6 different plays that I do. And you never know until the stock opens and trades where it's going to enter. So you got to be alert, on, and you got to take the trade when it sets up, and you got to be on it with the quality. But if I'm focused and watching one thing or 2 things in the morning very accurately, I can get the exact entries too. That entry I did on LVLT, I had that. I took it. I was in it. That was perfect. That's what it takes. If I was doing bullish gaps and bearish gaps, I'd probably be looking at 2,000 things in the morning. I'd be looking at too many things. Honestly, I don't know if I'd have the same results as I have now. My results are good. I don't know if I did 2 things all the time, if I would have the same kinds of results as I have right now, to be completely honest with you. I want people to do what they want to do, but I got to do what I want to do. And I know my results are good with this and doing nothing else. And I've seen myself intuitively just see things sometimes that I can't even explain. And I think that's because I'm just so used to doing the one thing. Yeah. Michael's saying, agree that specializing is key. I really, really think that. I really, really think that. I mean, do what you've got to do. I don't want to talk anyone into believing exactly what I think necessarily, okay? But I truly believe that. How many trades a day do I take? It varies. I mean, if I take, I'd say 2, 3, 4. If I take more than 5, that's like I'm over trading, like literally. I'm usually I'd say 3, maybe 4. Over 5 is a lot for me. I mean, one good trade and my day is done. I really don't need to do anything else. One good trade, boom, my day is done, okay? If I have one good trade and I want to chunk away and make a little bit more and just chunk it, okay, Or if I want to take the second trade and get to a target, I'll do that. But really, honestly, I'm really not looking to do a million trades a day. Again, it only pays the brokers when you do that because you're trading and churning and burning commissions. So I don't really want to do that to just churn and burn myself. I find that if I focus on one or two or three symbols, I can read them very accurately. And you know what? The best days I've had when I go back and look at my P&L, I've got one symbol that's in there with the money. Literally, I went back and looked at that like in the last month, and I said, geez, you know what? Seriously, I've got to focus is the key here. Literally. What do I do when I'm not trading? Well, I trade in the morning, and then I have the room, and then I do classes on the weekends. Once a month, I teach my Golden Gap course, and now I'm doing the specialty course. What do I do outside of that? Go to the gym, exercise, enjoy my life, date. You know,